kid playing football, always heard over the radio, MAGID MUSISI all the time. So I was like, when I grow up, I want to also be heard on the radio, over the radio. The same this guy is always been spoken about on the radio. So always went for training as a kid, these small balls. So he is my number one inspiration.
Okay.
And all boys in our generation, there is no one he never inspired. All the time we could hear a lot about him, score goals for Uganda, for Villa. So I think he inspired our generation so much way back in.
And of course, those days when he was on form and on fire, Sports Club Villa's home was in Masaka.
Yeah,
and I think the whole town used to go crazy every time they knew about a game. And they lost quite a few games in there. I could count like 3. They're all nostalgic. Buule, what is your recollection of MAGID MUSISI?
It's a major one. Definitely the move to Europe after having that stellar season in Villa. Even it cost over $1 million US. I'm not even sure about the amount, but in that time it was really a huge sum of money. But because he had a great season in Villa and then in the Uganda Cranes, that is when he made his move to Europe, and he made his name in Turkey, also in France. Some of the pictures there on the screen.
That was the time when Sports Club Villa was sponsored by Ajip, and every time you saw that picture, you knew the guy was going to hit people. MAGID MUSISI actually born and bred in Kampala. The mother is a resident of Kalerwe, works in the market up to today. We hear that at the peak of his career, he wanted to relocate him and to relocate her, and the mother said, "This is where I've grown and this is where I should be," and he actually bought the market for her. So she became the Nantara. We call them Sentara.
The owner.
She became the owner, and that is how big MAGID MUSISI was. Of course, growing up in Mulago, playing for Pepsi, first division side, and then being discovered by David Oti in 1984 when Sports Club Villa was preparing for Sekafa after winning the league. So a certain young lad came and terrorized players there around Lugogo, and somehow every KCC fan wanted him to join. But Sports Club Villa had residential training in Lugogo preparing for the Sekafa, and somehow as people were discussing, KCC was very proud those days. Like, he's not our type, we want the Kawowo, he has a lot of force power. So Oti said, okay. He put him in training for Sports Club Villa, and that is the story. Went on from there, winning so many titles for Sports Club Villa, the league and cup double 3 times, 86, 88, 89, and then winning the Uganda Cup and then the league over 7 times, and then becoming top scorer 4 times, including 1992 where Buule is talking about. He reached 29 goals. He was about to break Jimmy Chirunda's record of 32 goals, but he got that professional deal midway the season, and the last game he played was against KCC. Now that is the game where everyone looked at him. He came and scored 4 goals, then he left the pitch and he said bye-bye to Uganda. Went in France, played 3 seasons consecutively, and then went in Turkey where they bought him $1 million. Actually, he was the first $1 million player for Africa at that time, and he was the best player. But when we have memories, you look at Patrick Jonah Kakande in this game, much more the size or the stature of MAGID MUSISI, but of course smaller.
A bit smaller.
A bit smaller, but that is how he was, very stocky.
The height, do they match the height?
No, the height, of course at his age, he might, I don't know whether he can progress a little, but in the team, the way Kakande looks is the way MAGID looked, because the others were taller. The Hasules were taller, and he was the shortest guy, and that is the one that they always left unmarked, and he destroyed them. But this game,